ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Yesterday we saw uh, that Rupa Goswami has advised devotees to use their intelligence to distinguish between the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. Such discrimination will help them select a suitable spiritual master. It will also help them evaluate their own position and avoid imitating devotees on a higher platform. The duty of all devotees who aspire for perfection is to seriously practice devotional service and raise their qualification to topmost level. This is what it means to cultivate, means anushilanam, Krishna consciousness. Krishna glorifies devotees' untiring quest for perfection with these encouraging words. Kamakrodha viyukstanam yatinam yatachetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the very near future. This is in Bhagavad Gita, as it is 5th chapter, 26th verse. So, this is how one looks into a bona fide spiritual master and take the shelter. Now, another chapter we are entering into where Shivaram Maharaj picks up the verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 106th verse. That Shravanadi Kriya tar Swarupa Lakshana Tatastha Lakshane Upajaya Premadhana. The spiritual activities of hearing, chanting, and remembering and so forth are natural characteristics of devotional service. The marginal characteristics is that it awakens pure love for Krishna. Shravanam Kirtanam and smaranam. They are natural characteristics of devotional service. Means even we are told to listen first from the advanced devotees. Then you perform, that is kirtanam. That will increase your intensifying remembrance. So these are natural characteristics of devotional service. So those whose foundation is based on Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, they will definitely achieve the perfection and keep that aptitude of hearing first, then chanting, and then remembering. So that will solidify our pure faith. That will be a very firm foundation on which the devotional services of Archanam, Vandanam, Pujanam, and Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam will be built. Today we are entering into chapter number 9, Qualities of Pure Devotional Service. As with any activity, pure devotional service has both the goal, sadhya, and the process to attain, sadhana. In the chapter on devotional service in practice, however, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu breaks pure devotional service into 3 stages. The 3 categories of devotional service and devotional service in practice and devotional service in ecstasy and devotional service in pure love of Godhead. Sha bhakti sadhanam bhava prema cheti tirodhita. The reader may wonder whether devotional service in ecstasy, bhava bhakti, is a part of practice or part of the goal. Actually, that is supposed to be happening the last. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur responds by saying that because ecstatic emotion is the goal of devotional service in practice, it cannot be considered completely within the category of practice. It is a result or the final product. So the ecstasy, the bhava bhakti. Furthermore, devotional service in ecstasy does not have all the qualities of perfection, such as complete freedom from impediments. Therefore, it cannot be considered completely within the category of perfection. These quotations are taken from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and the other one in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The first one was first canto, second chapter, first verse, and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu is page number 22 and 23. 3 categories of devotional service: devotional service in practice, devotional service in ecstasy, and devotional service in pure love of Godhead. So, the quotation is that Sa Bhakti Sadhanam Bhava Prema Cheti Tirodhita. Tridhodita. 3 uddita. Uddita means emerging or evolving one after another, not simultaneously. So a reader may wonder whether devotional service in ecstasy, that is bhava bhakti, is a part of practice or part of goal. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that because ecstatic emotions, that is bhava bhakti, is the goal of devotional service in practice, it cannot be considered completely within the category of practice. One should not practice Bhava Bhakti. It's a product, the final product. It comes after the pure sadhana, in practice, and devotional service in a spontaneous way that will generate the ecstasy. So, furthermore, the devotional service in ecstasy does not have all qualities of perfections, such as complete freedom from impediments. Devotional service in ecstasy, even in the beginning, it is not considered to be perfect, and such as complete freedom from impediments or spontaneous devotion and spontaneous ecstasy. No, it will be interrupted. So it cannot be said it is perfect. Therefore, it cannot be considered complete within the category of perfection. More will be said about this in the later chapters. But we can conclude that devotional service in ecstasy is a distinct category, belonging neither to practice nor perfection. Can you understand this? Ecstasy is not the resultant derivative of our pure practices. It can have some qualities embedded in it, but it is not considered to be perfection. It has mature emotions that result from devotional service in practice, as well as the seedling of perfection be found in the blossoming stage of love. Prema is still in budding stage in Bhava Bhakti. Therefore, it is not perfection. Vaishnava Acharyas therefore accept three categories of pure devotion. Rupa Goswami describes 6 distinguishing characters of pure devotional service, 2 for each of above categories. Kleshagni, Shubhada, Moks Laguta Krit, and Sudurlabha, Sandrananda, Visheshatma, Sri Krishna Karshini Cha. Pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. It is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Second, then it minimizes the value of liberation. Who the hell cares for liberation? Devotees do not wait for the liberation. It is rarely achieved. Then it automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure, and it is the only means to attract Krishna. This is in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, first canto, first chapter, 17th verse is there. So, Rupa Goswami is describing 6 distinguishing characteristics of pure devotional service and 2 for each of the above categories. Again, which are the above categories?
Devotional service in practice.
Devotional service in practice, devotional service in ecstasy, and devotional service in pure love of Godhead. All right. And they have two resultant, traits that we must realize, we must apply for each category. So devotional service in practice should be Kleshagni Shubhada. Two, then devotional service in ecstasy is Lagutakrit, Moksha Lagutakrit, and Sudurlabha. Moksha Lagutakrit means doesn't wait for liberation. And liberation is completely minimized in its value. Devotees do not wait. Mukti Krutanjali Sevyam. Mukti Devi is standing with folded hand on the doorsteps of pure devotee. My dear sir, tell me, how can I engage? And the devotee will say, I'm sorry, I don't have time for you. Like that. He avoids looking into the mukti aspect. So, moksha lagutakrit. Then sudurlabha, also very rare to achieve. It is not achievable, but only those who are, very determined and became purified more, then they will be able to achieve. Then the last category, in love of Godhead, devotees in love of Godhead. They are supposed to be experiencing these two characteristics. That is Sandrananda and Visheshatma Sa Krishna Akarshani Chasa. Sandrananda. What kind of Ananda is there? Sandrananda. Let's see. Sandrananda means it automatically puts one into transcendental pleasure. Pleasure is also transcendental. And Sri Krishna Karshani means this is the only means to attract Krishna. The pure devotional service in love of Godhead only can attract Lord Shri Krishna. This is spoken in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, first canto, first chapter, 17th verse. Two of the above qualities become manifest at the stage of devotional service in practice. It relieves one from material distress and bestows all auspiciousness. When one practices devotional service in ecstasy, two additional qualities arise. A devotee derides the happiness of liberation and finds that he has attained a most rare jewel, and the symptoms found only in this stage. Devotional service in love of Godhead brings with the two more qualities. It imbues one with transcendental pleasure and has the unique ability to attract Krishna. From the stage of practice to perfection, then the pure devotional service has 6 qualities in all. even in pure faith, the results are coming very gradual with their symptoms. Freedom from all distress. Now we will be examining all the 6 results and performance of the pure devotional service. Devotees in Krishna consciousness must be patient, because relief from the suffering of material life does not come all at once. In fact, the first 2 qualities reveal themselves in proportion to devotees' progress in sadhana. And only at the stage of firm practice do they become fully manifest. See? We should be very patient, because the results are coming gradual. They will manifest gradually. It's not just like handing over the credentials after graduation. No. These are to be experienced on a gradual level. Moreover, the second quality, attaining the auspiciousness, depends on the first, because it appears only to the degree that relief from material distress has been attained. Means auspiciousness is the character when our physical, mental troubles are over. So they do not get over all of a sudden. It's by the practice and serious attitude, and we do not want to jump immediately, thinking we are in pure devotional service, so we can attain. No. It's a gradual rising. Rupa Goswami already told that, describing Bhaktanam Pradurbhavet Krama. Pradurbhavet Krama means they happen one after another, not all of a sudden. When Rupa Goswami explains in Navadha Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Then what is the verse? Bhaktanam, those who are practicing, the rising of love of Godhead happens gradually, kramanusar. So, keeping that notion and the same, that we should not make our devotional service a rush job. Those who do not follow this Rupa Goswami's principles, and they want to expedite the result of bhava, can become farce. They can become sahajiya. Have you seen such sahajiya? When kirtan starts and they get into ecstasy immediately, and they become a disturbance in those who are seriously chanting and following the kirtan. So that's a wrong habit, to enter into bhav immediately. Srila Prabhupada said, pick them up and put them on the road back. Do not let them come back in the temple, because they are distracting the serious practices that we are teaching. You can see in temple of Devi, such bhava, and the ladies especially. can be spotted quite often. So actually, it's a disturbance. श्रुति स्मृति पुराणादि पंचरात्र के विधिन विना एकांतिके हरेर भक्ति उत्पात त्यात कल्पते. Utpat means disturbance. Rupa Goswami has carefully jotted down all the Shastric points that are responsible to give rise to the development of love of Godhead. One cannot ignore that. And a devotee cannot be impatient. He has to cultivate all the passions. Oh, now I have entered into the activities of pure devotional service. Let me pump up the results fast. And this is not a mechanical system. The only way to gain relief from distress, that is klesha, caused by past deeds, is to take full shelter in the potency of devotional service. If you want to get rid of all the material problems, the klesha, then you have to take full shelter in the potency of the devotional service. Once enlightened through transcendental knowledge, devotees must also avoid creating further miseries for themselves. No one can gain release from the labyrinth of cause and effect without abstaining completely from the sin. It's a very good and direct, application that we must cultivate. If we have taken full shelter in the potency of devotional service, then the result will come in the stage wise. Have patience. If you get enlightened through the transcendental knowledge, by reading this systematic literature on devotion, devotees must also avoid creating further miseries for themselves. Means they should be refrained from commit more sinful activities. Otherwise, it becomes an offense on the holy name itself. The seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's not fair. No one can gain release from the labyrinth of cause and effect without abstaining completely from the sin. One must avoid at all circumstances. That labyrinth begins in ignorance, avidya. The root cause of suffering is avidya, and it weaves the web of so many inauspicious and sufferings. From the ignorance come two subsidiary causes. Sin means papa and material desires, bija. Papa and bija. The reaction to sinful activities are two. Those already visible, prarabdha, and those are unmanifest in form stage, means aprarabdha. Prarabdha means we are suffering from already committed sinful activities. And unmanifest is in formative stage, means the seeds are there, material desires are there. So bija, they will start fructifying. The material body is an example of fully manifest reaction to the sin. Because of our previous sinful activities, we obtain another material body. And yet we want to get solace. Oh, this child has been born in Vaishnava family, or he is born in Brahman family. But what about the aprarabdha seeds which are not yet fructified? They are also there. Therefore, we should be very well aware that in childhood, the children are innocent and they should be cultivated most in devotional service. But as soon as the adolescent starts, their aprarabdha seeds are starting, and they see the seeds are within, surrounded in the previous experience stored in the mind. So we see this. So material body is an example of fully manifest reaction to sin. Formative sinful activity is also of two kinds. The first causes further sinful acts to become manifest as prarabdha, and the other produces the inclination to perform further sinful acts, the kuta. Kuta. This inclination to sin then forms into the bija. The aprarabdha and prarabdha. The prarabdha has some seeds which are already produced and they have developed at kuta, and others are remaining as bija, means unfructified yet. So aprarabdha and prarabdha are two divisions of the sinful nature. The sin means papa and desires are called bija, but desires are of prarabdha and aprarabdha. So prarabdha has also two categories, bija and what? Kuta and bija. The following hypothetical examples show how this chain reaction works and how it causes even devotees to suffer. Say a person is destined for punishment by the law of nature because of promiscuity. The reaction for such sins does not appear immediately but remains formative, aprarabdha, until the next birth. As the next body develops, the sinful effects make the person highly inclined to sensual behavior, kutam. This inclination intensifies until the person, who perhaps has now become a devotee, is overwhelmed by the desire for sex, means bijam. If the devotee succumbs to that illicit desire and engages in uncontrolled irreligious sex, that is prarabdha, with himself or someone else, he suffers further. On one side, his sinful acts nourish his sinful inclination, which matures into more seeds of desires. The desire that relentlessly impels him to have more sex. On the other side, he also receives direct reaction in the form of shame and censure from the devotee community. A practicing devotee can only break this vicious cycle of sin and punishment by tolerating the influence of past sinful activities and stopping any further sinful acts. This is possible only by taking full shelter of all purifying potency of devotional service. Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhag. This bhajate mam ananya bhag is to be understood. Then a practicing devotee can only break his vicious cycle of sin and punishment by tolerating the influence of past sinful activities and stopping any further sinful acts. My dear Lord, thank you very much that you have given me only this much punishment. Otherwise, my past deeds are so much for unaccountable sins that I have committed. You are just giving me a little token. I thank you very much. Krishna says he is deserved to be liberated. So apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhag sadhureva hi samantavya. Ananya bhag means continuation of the devotional service with intent to prevent furthermore activities of sinful and tolerate all the inconvenience that is given, but never give up Krishna consciousness. Because whatever the kuta is there and going to fructify, he will be ready to suffer. And he will think only that much that Krishna is giving. Tatte anukampam su samikshramana bhunjavanam evatma kritam vipakam. Radha vag vapu namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadai bhag. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this is explained. Oh, my dear Lord, this is your anukampa, this is your mercy that you are giving me only this much punishment. I thank you very much, but otherwise, on my own, if I start recounting all my sinful activities, I'm nowhere to be, But this is your mercy that you are giving me some token punishment. Therefore, I will be very much firm not to commit this. So Kuta and Bija will be destroyed in his heart and he will become soon righteous. So Sadhureva hi samantavya, he should be considered as a sadhu. That is Krishna's opinion in Bhagavad Gita. And Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. He will become again soon dharmatma. He is adhering to the principles of religion, always whatever is an impediment in connection with it, he will shun them off by all determination, keeping the results of sinful activities in his mind, never to commit again. Then swasachantam nigacchati. He will achieve that sthanam. Sthanam means whatever the appropriate state in his experience of pure devotion is, that is, Kleshagni is there. He will start experiencing all the 6 symptoms soon. Swasachantam nigacchati. Kaunte pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. So, Narad Muni says, what's the big deal if one falls down from his practice? But whatever he has already gained remains the permanent asset. Apakwa patet tato yadi. So, Kova abhadra abhut amushya came. What is there inauspicious for him? No. Whatever he has done always remains a permanent asset. But when he experiences some token punishment by Lord Shri Krishna, he becomes thankful. Then, my dear Lord, you are so kind, you have given me only this much punishment for so much heaps of sinful activities I have done. I thank you very much, and I will not commit any kuta to come in the way again, or the bija. I will roast it by my austerity. I will roast them, both of them, so they will never fructify further. So that is the kind of resolve a devotee in pure devotional service, develops. Ritviks cannot tolerate the falling down. Therefore, they discard the baby out of with the bath water. But Krishna does not discard them. Neither our system is discarding the fallen sannyasis also. Yes, they will have to stop the activities and they have to purify themselves. So they will be given on probation, they will be given on some stages of development and associate without any strings attached. Given them chance to rectify. This is the perfect process. Ritviks are excuses to keep falling off. Oh, you are bound to fall down, so become a Ritvik. Krishna, bless me. So this is only possible by taking full shelter of the all-purifying potency of devotional service. Must continue. Serious practitioners may ask how they can maintain enthusiastic, patience, and tolerant in the face of such reactions. Patience and enthusiasm seems so incongruous. To overcome the above cycle of sinful reactions and tangibly advance in spiritual life, devotees must first understand and then become convinced of the extraordinary potency invested in pure devotional service. Uttam Bhakti, even at this early stages of practice, is like Krishna, the all-powerful. No other spiritual practice described in the Vedas or any other scripture, whether in the Karma, Gyan, and Upasana Kand, can completely purify its follower's heart. On this topic, the two Bhagavatam verses are the favorite of Vaishnavas. These verses fill devotees' heart with the conviction that their suffering will soon be driven out by the matchless influence of the devotional service. The first verse describes how the seed of sinful desire, the papa, is neutralized, and the second, how the impetus for the sinful desire, ignorance in its many forms, avidya, is uprooted. This is the description of 4 types of ignorance in chapter 16 that we will count. Teistani agani puyante tapodana vratadibhi na dharmajam tad dradatyam tad apis sangri sevaya. Although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, these pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam 2nd chapter, 17th verse. And another famous verse. Yadapada pankaja palasha vilasa bhaktya karmashayam granthinum udgrathayanti stantah tavat na riktamatayo yatayo api ruddha sroto ganastam aranam bhajavasudevam. The devotees who are always engaged in the service of the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord can very easily overcome hard-knotted desires for fruitive activities. Because this is very difficult, non-devotees, the jnanis and yogis, although trying to stop the waves of sense gratification, cannot do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 22nd chapter, 39th verse. So, 2 Bhagavatam verses are favorite for Vaishnavas because they are very anxious that they want to continue the spiritual practices even after encountering difficulties and falling off from their position. But they have these 2 powerful verses, to support for their rectification as well as progress further. These verses fill devotees' heart with a conviction that their suffering will soon be driven out by the matchless influence of devotional service. Nobody is advising to stop devotional service and discard that person. The Ritviks want to throw out the devotees who are progressing, but may due to some influence may fall off. So devotees should know with conviction that their suffering will soon be driven out by the matchless influence of devotional service. They should never give up. Yes, they should not anticipate whatever respect he was getting before. But in a fallen condition, he should take a very humble position so he can rectify soon. The first verse describes how the seed of sinful desire, that is papa, is neutralized. And the second, how the impetus of sinful desire, that is ignorance in many forms, avidya, is uprooted. Teistani agani puyante tapodana vratadipihi na dharmajam tad dradayam tan apisangri sevaya. Although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, these pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations. This is spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 2nd chapter, 17th verse. So how there are already been built-in methodologies that if we encounter ever, we should not deliberately encounter, but encounter ever in our progressive devotional service due to some material desires, whether it's prarabdha or aprarabdha, anyway, just never give up the engagement in devotional service. Keep on serving the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, and soon will become righteous, means soon will become free from all contaminations. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 22nd chapter, 39th verse, is Yadapad Pankaja Palasha Vilasa Bhaktya Karmashayam Gratitam Udgrathayanti Santaha Tadvan Riktamatayo Yatayo Api Ruddha Sroto Ganastam Aranam Bhajas Vasudevam. The devotees who are always engaged in the service of the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord can very easily overcome hard-knotted desires for fruitive activities. Because this is very difficult, non-devotees, the jnanis and yogis, although trying to stop the waves of sense gratification, cannot do so by their methodology, that is austerity, charity, and vows. No, they cannot get rid of that. So, although trying to stop the waves of sense gratification cannot do so, therefore you are advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 22nd chapter, 39th verse. Okay. While preaching in India, Srila Prabhupada was often confronted with a common misconceptions. Traditionalists considered his Western disciples to be untouchable by birth, mlecchas or chandalas, and thus unqualified to become brahmanas. Even if purified the past sins, to conduct Vedic sacrifices, the Hindus argued, Westerners should have to take birth in a Brahman family in India. In Kali Yuga, rascals. Srila Prabhupada responded to such superstition and explained the conclusive opinion of the revealed scriptures. What is that in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 33rd chapter, 6th verse? What is that? He battled valiantly to establish that even persons born in families of dog-eaters can become qualified to perform Vedic sacrifices. That qualification came, he argued, by living the life of pure Brahman, chanting the holy name, praising Krishna, hearing about his pastimes, offering him obeisances, and remembering him. This is the conclusion given in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 33rd chapter, 7th verse is there. What is that verse Sukdev Goswami is telling?
Remember Swapachoto Garian.
Huh?
I remember Swapachoto Garian. I don't remember the beginning of it.
Yeah, but Hunandra Pulkasha Ahir Shumbha Yavana Khasadya Te api Shuddyanti Prabhavishnave Namaha Ahir Shumbha. What is the first line? Haribol, wake up.
Yes.
Huh?
We found another.
No, that is.
No, he wants.
Yeah. Simply by. What is
Hare
that?
Krishna Guru Maharaj. Kirita Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abira Shumba Yavana Kashadaya Ye Anya Papa Yeda Papa Ashraya Shuddyanti Tasmai Prabha Vishnave Namaha. 2:4:18 Maharaj.
Yeah, 2:4:18. That is also, I mean, Prabhupada has to confront the Smartha Brahmanas. And yet, they will not consider, them to be of their category. Just to appease them, Prabhupada called the local Brahmins to install the deities, of Radha Shyam Sundar and Vrindavan. Otherwise, they were still talking Angrej Mandir. This is the temple of Angrej, means they are of low categories. They cannot have. But now they appreciate, oh, Prabhupada ki jai, because he gave us our daily bread.
The rickshaw drivers, we're still calling it the Angreji Mill.
Right. So Prabhupada responded to such superstition and explained the conclusive opinion of revealed scriptures. He battled valiantly to establish that even persons born in the families of dog-eaters can become qualified to perform Vedic rites. Vaishnavo Guru Nasyat Vaishnava Swapachato Guru. That qualification came, he argued, by living a life of pure Brahmana, chanting the holy name, praising Krishna, hearing about his pastimes, offering him obeisances, and remembering him. It was spiritual practice, not birth, that determined who was a Vaishnava Brahmana. And if self-righteous Brahmanas, though born in the best of the families, neglected their qualified duties, scriptures consider that they were nothing more than the semblance of Brahmanas, of Brahmabandhu. Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 7th chapter, 19th verse purport. Srila Prabhupada explains these Brahmabandhus. Srila Prabhupada's preaching was successful. Most spiritual authorities in India now accept ISKCON's member as bona fide Vaishnavas. They accept that all devotees duly initiated and following the guidelines of their founder Acharya are purified of the past sins and endowed with Brahminical qualities. They accept That said, it must be also admitted that some members of ISKCON, or rather some individuals who identify themselves with ISKCON, are determined to undo Srila Prabhupada's preaching. Even in places like Vrindavan or Mayapur, these devotees do not conduct themselves like Brahmanas, Vaishnavas. In the most sacred places of universe, they perform illicit activities, indulge in power politics, and even engage in acts of violence. Obviously, such behavior ruins both ISKCON's reputation and the performers' spiritual lives. Their behavior is also the source of virulent offenses to Srila Prabhupada, the Vaishnavas, and the holy Dhamas. There is another dishonoring of Srila Prabhupada's attempt to advocate for Western Vaishnavas. While not as grievous as the ones mentioned above, it nonetheless misrepresents his divine grace. It is the widespread failure of devotees to embrace the cultural ways of pure Vaishnavas. A few of many aspects of Vaishnava tradition that have fallen by the wayside include the wearing of Vaishnava attire outside the temple, men's shaving their head and maintaining sikhas, and women braiding their hair, Brahminical standards of cleanliness and education, regular attendance at the spiritual programs, maintaining the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam as the value system governing the devotees' lives, and the most serious of all, the neglect of very spiritual practices that transforms us into pure devotees. Vaishnava culture, as devotees practice it in the West, which Srila Prabhupada happily cited as evidence that his Western followers were becoming purified and been watered down to become a hybrid culture in which Krishna consciousness is no longer a full-time way of life. In some part of the world, Krishna consciousness now appears to have joined other sects to become simply a belief system. Thus, for many of Srila Prabhupada's followers, the prediction of his divine grace critics has come to pass. By transforming Krishna consciousness into the important semblance of itself, these devotees fail to become purified of past habits and remain sadly victimized by the past deeds and sins. Another important topic must be stressed here, that is, the distress that comes as a reaction to offenses committed against Vaishnavas, Vaishnava Aparadha. The steady practice of devotional service certainly subdues the distress arising from material desires, but even when such distress is subdued, Vaishnava Aparadha can continue to afflict the heart and impede the flow of devotion. In fact, offenses to devotees impede even ecstatic devotion from immediately blossoming into loving devotion. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that reaction to offenses against advanced Vaishnava are removed completely only when devotees meet Krishna face to face and they go back to Godhead. This is in Madhurya Kadambini, chapter 3, page number 27. Say, reactions to offenses against the advanced Vaishnavas are removed completely only when the devotee meets Krishna face to face and when they go to back to Godhead. Thus, even advanced devotees must patiently wait for their offenses to be nullified. The goddess of loving devotion, Sri Radha, does not tolerate even the slightest scent of offense to her devotees. Dear readers, please always remember this great threat to the spiritual life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warned us that this offense is the mad elephant that uproots the creeper of devotion. He says, Yadi Vaishnava aparad uthe hathi mata upade va chinde tar sukhi yaya pata tate mali यत्न करी करे आवरण अपराध हस्तिर यैचे न हय उद्गम. If the devotee commits an offense at the feet of Vaishnava while cultivating the creeper of devotional service in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that uproots the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper dry up. The gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant offenses may not enter. This is in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 19th chapter, 156 to 157th verses. I would like to stop here because we are entering into a very important topic of pure devotion and what hampers the sinful activities, whether past misdeeds that not yet fructified, so that is kuta, and that the bija. So we have suffered, but we are keep on suffering as long as the material body is concerned, and the kuta are still there, and bijas are still waiting to be eradicated. So that implies the anarthas. Anartha nivrutti is very important for this reason. External anarthas are there, but internal anarthas also need to be removed. So we will look into this tomorrow again and make a little further progress in understanding the most important topic of Shuddha Bhakti. It is Chintamani. So anybody has any question or comments? Jai Lala Samai.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please, my humble obeisances. Guru Maharaj, just now we read that last paragraph, So Vaishnava Chakravarti Thakur stated that reaction to offense against advanced Vaishnava are removed completely only when devotee meet Krishna face to face,
Yes.
when they go back to Godhead. But Guru
Yes.
Maharaj, how can we go back home, back to Godhead when we have
because the holy name is not taking the responsibility. The possessor of the holy name is the final rescue. He may progress because of his determination and other things. But yet, even though if he goes back home, back to Godhead, but he can go only when he meets Krishna face to face.
But even the Vaishnava Aparadh, you can still go back to Godhead?
Well, apparently he should not.
Yes.
But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, even though.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is the connotation.
Does that mean, Guru Maharaj, that even if we beg for forgiveness for offenses, we're still not purified until we get back to Krishna? Well, the remedy for Vaishnava Aparadh is to beg forgiveness from the devotee we offended.
Right.
But that doesn't fully purify us until we go back to Godhead.
Well, he can make progress by accepting the, offenses.
I guess it depends how much
Right.
we are.
As for example, Durvasa Muni,
yes.
When he offended Vaishnava, Amrish Maharaj, he had begged offenses, but then he asked only for his selfishness that you are a pure devotee, please pray to Sudarshan and tell him to become peaceful. Spare my life. But we do not know whether the Rasa Muni has ever become pure devotee.
We haven't heard
Mm.
No. Did he go back home, back to Godhead?
No.
He's still hanging around, right?
He never became a devotee even. That is his position. So even though he came up to Lord Vishnu, but Lord Vishnu rejected.
Yes, that was, we know it. But here the sentence is saying, go back home, back to Godhead.
He may artificially try by his yogic power to go to Vaikuntha, just like 4 Kumaras also went. But their category of devotion is different. Have you ever seen 4 Kumaras in Golok Vrindavan?
No. We never heard it.
Yeah. They may know something about Vaikuntha, but that's about it. They went maximum to Brahmaloka. When inundation comes, even from Satyaloka, from the higher planetary systems, Maharloka, Janaloka, and Tapoloka, they all go to Brahmaloka to take shelter. Because Brahmaloka will not be devastated.
Yes. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Haribol.
Anybody has any other question? Haribol.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. In line with what Lalsamai Mataji said, in this, do we understand that he has at least tried to make some amends for what he has done, but he is not fully cleared of that? And therefore, having made some attempt to clear that Vaishnava aparad, the Lord then will ultimately appear before him to forgive him for that?
Yeah, naturally the holy name and the Lord are identical, right? So in that sense, if Krishna accepts him, the holy name has no objection. That is possibility is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that holy name is less powerful than Krishna. No. When a devotee also, commits such sinful activities, they have to beg the forgiveness from the offended devotee. Even if he is forgiven, then he should be so much aware and fearful that not even a thought he should have that he will offend him in the thought, anybody. It is said that Bahu Janma Yadi Kare Shravana Kirtana Tabutana Paya Krishna Pade Prema Dhana. He can become Dharmatma. The devotee is not going to be perished, but it's not equivalent that he must have achieved love of Godhead by committing that offense. To achieve the love of the Lord, Premopamartha Mahan. One should not dream of offending somebody. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's standard. Otherwise, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chastise even Haridas, Chota Haridas? He is totally imbued by example and love of Godhead, and his assistant is, doing something that will become an offense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't want his association because it will be disturbing the spec pure system of reaching to the love of Godhead. Even that who was with him in South India, one Krishnadas who was he went to Bhattaharis, those gypsies. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected him too. Told him to go to Nadia back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. He was still a devotee, but he had to go.
Yeah.
Kala Krishnadas from Labangana. So Guru Maharaj, that means that the first offense is more serious than the third offense? First offense is more serious than the third offense?
First is more serious
than the third.
than the third, disobeying the orders of spiritual master.
Or considering
But the first is the gravest.
the gravest.
Yeah. But
because we all commit the third one. We all consider a spiritual master an ordinary person until we come to realize that.
yeah, but spiritual master should also teach about the absolute truth and conclusion of the Shastras. If he does not do that, then he will devalue himself also. Shastre parecha nishnatam brahmani samupashrayam. That should be the character of the spiritual. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jigyasu sre uttamam. Prabhupada quotes so many things. We should think more on today that Shivaram Maharaj is analyzing the status of ISKCON and how people try to demean the spiritual movement. He's very frank and very analytical.
Yeah.
He's covering so many aspects of defamation of ISKCON.
By people trying to make it an institution instead of a spiritual organization.
Even Srila Prabhupada faced.
Yes.
And we should not be that kind of touchy people. Oh, I don't want to enter into. Don't be afraid. We are supposed to be fighters, and because it depends upon our faith and conviction. How much are we into love of the Lord? Anybody else, Haribol?
And Sanchari has come. Sanchari is saying, thank you, Gurudev. It was nice to hear that we can one day see Krishna, if we sincerely follow sadhana and your instructions. But we've got to be very serious to get there. Vigilalis is just saying thank you as well. It's encouraging and hope giving class.
All right. Thank you very much. Shila Prabhupada ki jai.